Welcome YouTube. Hi, my name is Majestic and I'm going to be talking to you about knitting. Actually, I'm going to be talking to you a bit more about a new knitting needle set that I got, which is the HiyaHiya interchangeable 4-inch set that I've been wanting for a very long time. So you probably know that I am a big Lykke fan and I love wooden needles. For a while I've been using fixed needles, and I use a various amount of different types of needles. Different friends have given me needles and just to kind of try out. And for a while I was really struggling with what kind of metal knitting needle set I wanted to get. For a while I thought I wanted to get the Addy ones because I have Addy crochet hooks, and then I also have Addy fixed needles and I really like them, but I wanted something a little different, and I started thinking about it even more, and I thought, you know, it would be good for me to get a new type of set that I really like. So I'm actually going to be showing you my new HiyaHiya set that I'm really happy about, and I think it's really cool. If you're considering getting a HiyaHiya interchangeable set, I highly recommend it. I've had it for a few days now. I've started making some projects with it, and I have to say I am completely in love with this knitting needle set. It's super cool, very convenient. It is so compact how they have this set. Like, as you can see, it's not that big. And I'll show you my Lykke set, which is bigger than this set is. So that's like a comparison to the size and width of everything. But I got the 4 inches. These are 5-inch, so these are a little bit smaller, and they do make a big difference when you're knitting. I really wanted a set where I can make hats and not have to do the magic loop, and I wanted smaller needles in a set too, so I can make socks and smaller hats because I'm working more with fingering weight and sock weight yarn now. So the set was really a good purchase for me. I got mine off of Amazon, and I will link in the description below my Amazon affiliate link, so that if you want to pick up the set for yourself, you definitely can do that without having to search around for it. Again, if you do buy something from my affiliate links, I do make a small commission from that, and that helps support this channel. So definitely check that out. No pressure though, you know, buy stuff at your own pace and when you want to do it for yourself. That's what I do when I am looking up different things I want to get. But I think that I'm good on knitting needles as far as like these two sets, but that might change eventually, you know. Again, I've had this one for a number of years, but this one is very new and I am loving all the features with it, and I can't wait to show you guys what it is that I love about the set and what came with my set as well. Alright guys, so this is my HiyaHiya knitting needle set. So this is the card that it came with, and this kind of gives you an overview of what I'm going to talk about that this set came with. So this, when I originally got this, I thought my set was going to be purple, and honestly I'm okay with that it's not. I mean, the link I used, it had a purple one, it had a blue one in there. This one's like teal color, and I honestly don't mind it. Now this is a really cool brand. I've used some fixed HiyaHiya products before, but this is definitely my first time having a full set of HiyaHiya needles. It's also my first metal needle set, so that's another big deal for me to have a metal needle set, because I do go back and forth between wooden needles and metal needles. It just depends on the yarn I'm using and what I actually need from the set. So this set comes with 13 sets of 4-inch sharp interchangeable tips, and that's what a lot of people go with HiyaHiya. HiyaHiya has very sharp tips, similar to ChiaoGoo, but I prefer HiyaHiya, and I'm going to show you some details as to why I prefer my HiyaHiya needles over ChiaoGoo interchangeable needles. Now, my issue with ChiaoGoo needles, I honestly believe it's something where I probably got some ChiaoGoo needles that were a bad batch, because mine constantly come undone with me. And if you use interchangeable needles, you know that that's a big issue when you're knitting and then your needle starts untwisting on you. HiyaHiyas are, so far, I've yet to have them come undone with me, and I have not changed the style of knitting that I've done since using ChiaoGoo. Now, I've never owned a ChiaoGoo set, but I have owned cables and individual needles in various sizes. So in this particular set, you get 13 pairs of needles. You're gonna get 4 cables, a 16-inch, a 24-inch, a 32-inch, and a 40-inch. A small cable connector, small tip adapter, the panda stoppers, because the HiyaHiya brand uses a lot of pandas, which is super cool. And the single point adapters, which are both large and small, and puppy snips and darnets and knitters safety pins. Now, some of these things I honestly haven't used yet, just because they haven't come up, and eventually I will, as I learn more about the set that I have and the functions of it. I will definitely keep you guys updated and do more videos about these things, but for right now, I don't have an actual like use for some of the stuff because of the type of projects I'm working on. So let's get started. So 2 of the things that came with it are these single point adapters, and look like that. So these are the large size for the larger needles, and then these are the smaller ones for the smaller needles. And I have an idea of what these are, but I honestly don't know what they are. I think these are to make your needles longer. So if you needed a longer needle, you would use these and it would create a longer needle for you. So those are the smaller ones, and then these are the larger ones for the larger needles. Now into the actual case. The case is super cool. It's using a very nice silky type fabric and a fabric over part here, and it's got this cool little knot right here to undo. So it's not like a metal clasp or anything like that. You just kind of put the loop over there and pop it off. So you open up to the needles underneath this nice little flap, and I'm gonna go ahead and open them up. And look at those, guys. Those are so cool. So the smallest size mine come with is a size 2, and these are a US 2 2.75, which are perfect for if you're going to be making socks. I love how these are inscribed on there, and I'm actually going to take out one of my Lykke needles so you can see the difference, because you might be thinking, well, those are 4 inches and your other needles are 5 inches. What is the actual difference? The difference is an inch, and that inch makes a big difference when it comes to. So this is the smallest size that I have in the Lykke, which is a size, I believe that's a 4 is the smallest size. So actually what I'll do is I'll take out the size 4 with this. So I think the 4 is here. Let me double check. No, that's a 5. So this is a 4 right here. So these are the same size. And so starting with the back ends with the adapters right here, this is the size difference. So this is what makes the overall big difference, is that you are working now with an extra inch from the cable. So that means that your knitting is going to be a little bit, it's going to be very different. It's hard to really describe the feeling of knitting with a smaller needle, other than when you have longer needles, your hands are placed differently. Whereas when you have smaller needles, your hands are a bit closer to the tip sometimes. It honestly depends on how you knit. I do like the smaller size because for hats and things like that, for things that need smaller lengths on the actual needle, knitting with the larger size can make your stitches seem stretched, and that's a big issue for me sometimes, because I don't want to have to block out spots where the stitches were stretched out too much because my needle was very long. So that's a thing to also think about when deciding about your knitting needles. So with these knitting needles, you also get stuff in this zipper part up here. So I've got a lot of stuff up here, and what's really cool, they include little baggies, and they also include little cards that tell you a bit more about what you got. So when I bought these, I was told that this was a keyless set. So I was thinking that my cables, and what I mean by the key is that there's a little key like this that you put in the cable to twist them onto the needle so that they stay on. I was told this was a keyless set, so it also comes with these little extra grips, and the grips help you fasten on your cable to your needle without using the key. I still use the key, and I'm glad it did come with a key. And I enjoy the fact that I have the option to do both. But once I've had them on, I haven't had any issues with the needles and cables coming loose from each other. The other thing that I got was these stoppers. And I'm going to actually put the stoppers to the side because I'm going to talk about them when I bring out the cables, which the cables are really cool to look at too. So we also have the cable connectors. So these are really good for when you need a bigger size cable. Let's say that you have you have an 8-inch cable, but you need a 24-inch cable, and you have 4-inch needles. All you need is 2 8-inch cables and your two 4-inch needles. So your needles that are 4 inches each, and you will have a 24-inch cable if all you have are 2 8 inches. So you would use these to connect them. Now the cables that this set came with are all small, so you need to use adapters to get them to fit the bigger size needles, which have the screw that's that big. So that's another thing to think about when you're buying a set, because they do sell separate ones where you're only getting the small ones, and then you have sets when you're only getting the bigger ones. So, and by that I mean the size of the needles. So when you're buying one of these sets, definitely look and check and see what kind of set you're getting, and also be aware of what kind of cables are coming with it, and if this also includes the adapters. If they are not including the adapters, you're going to have to spend extra money to get them, so it might make more sense for you to get a set that already has it, and then you don't have to worry about trying to match up and figure out what you need. So it also came with our trusted friends, the knitter safety pens or stitch markers that look like this. The ones I got were different colors, and they're really cute. I really like them a lot, and I think I placed them over already in my notions bag because I'm not going to keep them in my my knitting needle case. The next thing that I have are Darn It needles. These are curved needles for weaving in ends that came with this, so I thought that was really cool. They just included that in the set. We also have more interchangeable tip adapters. These are so you can take the smaller cable pieces and you can connect them to your bigger needle, so you would use an adapter. Now they do add a little bit of extra length to them, but it's not going to be quite as long as 5 inches. So that's another thing too. Now it might actually be more like 5 inches, but I think it's a little bit smaller. I originally was only going to get a small set of needles when I was picking out my HiyaHiyas, but then I decided to just go ahead and get the larger set because I never know if I'm going to be making a hat that's going to need larger needles. My Lykke set is really for when I'm making shawls and blankets and things that require more lacier and a longer cable and needle attachment, versus this set is more so for my smaller projects like socks and hats and smaller scarves that are only going to require me to use an 8-inch cable or a 24-inch cable, just depending on what it is. So I thought that was cool. The other things that came with are more of the cable adapters, and these are for if I have thicker cables. I can also use these as well. So these are for the large large size cables. And then we also have, so you may have heard me say puppy snips earlier. I was super excited to see that I actually did not get puppy snips. I got what they call kitty snips, and they're so cute. So it matches my set. So it's really cute, and it's a little cat, and it's little scissors, but it's a cute little keychain thing, and it's a little cat, and I don't know if you can see very well, but the cat is wearing a little bow tie, and I just thought that was absolutely adorable. So I was super excited to get this. It was one of the first things I pulled out of the bag when I opened this, and I freaked out. I screamed. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's just adorable. I really love this. I have scissors and everything, and I have scissors in my knitting bag, and I will do another video about my knitting bag and my notions bag. And so this is definitely going on my knitting bag because it's just so cute. I love this so much. All right, so now that we've got everything out of this pocket up here, we're going to actually close this part, and we're going to talk about the back part, which looks like this. And yes, it's super cute. I love that. And it's a zipper pouch. And this is where I have all my cables. So this set was really, really nice. And I feel like this was definitely worth the money that I spent on it. So also, this video is not sponsored. I actually spent the money that I did on this. This was about $167 for this set. It was really like $157, but given taxes and that I bought it off of Amazon, you know, you have all those fees and stuff. So it was $167. And I was going back and forth in my brain about it because I was like, that's a lot of money to spend. And I honestly didn't spend that much money on my Lykke set. And I was like, do I really, can I just get away with using my fixed needles? But then I kept thinking about it even more. And I said to myself, you know, I really would like to have this set. I think it's a good investment. And I honestly am very glad that I did. I've been very impressed with every bit of this set that I have, and I love it. It's really a nice piece. So you can get it cheaper. I have seen different sets, but some of the sets that were cheaper, there was like a $75 set that was just the smaller needles, and that was it. And there was another one that was just these needles right here. But considering everything I got and the fact that I won't have to buy anything else for this set, if I get more cables, I get more cables. I can get more needles because this case was designed so that I can add 1, 2, 3 more needles, which means that I can add a size 1, a size US 1, size US 0, and a size US 00. And I also can add an extra bigger, larger cable, needle to my set and completely fill out this entire kit. And I really like that they give you that option, and I like that they gave you sizes that you actually really like and need. So I have from size 2 all the way to size 15 in this kit. So if I find other needles or other HiyaHiyas that work with this, I can add them to this kit. Or if I want to include some 5-inch ones, I can do that in this kit. So that's what I really love about this. The fact that this is the first case that I have that gave me room to add new needles to it. With my Lykke set, and I still love my Lykke set, I do not have room to add different color Lykke needles to it. My Lykke needles I have are the Indigos, and that's all I can add to them. I can't add extra ones to that. I only can have the ones I have. If I break one of those, I will have to replace the needles that's already in there, but there's no room to add any extra sizes or any extra colorways that Lykke has. So that being said, let's get back to what was in that other pocket. So it also came with this official HiyaHiya. This is a needle / hook finder. So basically the idea is that you have some random needles or you don't know what size your needle is. Now we're going to distract from, we're going to say that, let's say that my needles did not have it inscribed on the needle what size it is. Let's say that wasn't a thing. Let's say we didn't know that this was a size 8. You would take and you would poke through until you find where it fits. So obviously it's not going to fit any smaller ones. So you would just go bigger. So it kind of goes through with the 6, but not all the way through. It's a little better with the 7, but not through. And here we go. It fits all the way through. So that's the size it is. It's too loose in the 9. It's way too loose in the 10. So it's a size 8. So this has the US sizes, and on the back part, it has the millimeters. And that's really important for a lot of different reasons. And one of the main reasons this is important is because you'll end up with a size 3 that seems like it's a size 3, but you don't know exactly what millimeter size it is. There's a size 2, but then there's also 2.5. And then 2.25 and 2.75, which are all different versions of the same kind of size 2, but they're still bigger, going in size 3, going in size 4. So I really like how this is done. I think it's really cute. It's a little sheep, and that's a really fun little thing that they added to that too. So that's a nice element to have. Now onto the main thing. So I'm actually working on a project right now. So I'm using Malabrigo yarn for this project. And I'm using my HiyaHiyas, and I took the cables, I took the needles off, but I kept the cables on. So this is actually my 32-inch cable that's on here. And I have my cable stoppers. So I love these. They are very, very cute. They're green marble type, and they've got a little sparkle to them, which I love. And I really like this. So these are a type of stitch markers that came with the kit, which I think they're really nice. They're really, really nice. And so I really enjoy this. I like that it's not going anywhere. This is what those cable stoppers are for. They're to keep your stitches in place where they're supposed to be, and so that you can use your needles on other things. So that's always a really cool thing to have. So I thought this was really amazing. And then for the bigger, when I have the bigger cables on, well, not cables, the bigger needles on with the adapter and everything, you would use these, the pandas. The pandas are knitting little socks, and that is adorable. And they're made for the bigger cable sizes. So those are also really cool. They're not glass. They are a type of rubber. They're really hard, but they're so cute. Like, that's just adorable. All right, and so we're gonna go into our cable. So it came with the 40-inch, the 32 that we already talked about being on my project already, a 24, and this is a 8-inch, but with the needles added to it, it will be a 16-inch cable. So a lot of times when you look at buying cables, you have to know what size needles you have. If I had 5-inch needles, then this would be an 18-inch cable. But because I have 4 inches, this is going to be a 16-inch cable, because 4 plus 4 together, plus the 8, is going to give you 16. So same thing with this one. This is not a true 24-inch cable. This is a 18-inch cable, but you're adding the 4 and the 4 to make the 24. I think my math is right on that. It might be a little smaller than that, sorry. But yeah, so this is 24-inch, and this is the math adding into my 4-inch needles. So I hope that was easy for you to understand. But yeah, so keep that in mind when you're also getting cables as well. what size needle you have, because that's going to dictate the size cable you actually need to buy. If your cables are 5 inches and you want it to be 16 inches, you're going to have to adjust for that as well. And you're probably not going to end up with a true 16-inch cable. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But this was my whole HiyaHiya set. I really hope you enjoy this video. I am enjoying the set so much. No regrets. This is a really beautiful set. It's made wonderfully. And you should know on the back of these, they also include an invitation to tell you what kind of patterns they have, and they invite you into groups. Now, none of these patterns are free as far as I know, but the designer who is on Ravelry, she or they, sorry, I don't know their pronouns, but they have plenty of really cool patterns that they make exclusively with HiyaHiya needles, and I think that's really, really cool. So they included a lot of different information about the designer and where to find these patterns, and an invite to join the HiyaHiya group on Ravelry for people that love HiyaHiya like I do. So if you're looking for a cool knitting needle set and you're looking for a sharp needle, you have two choices in the knitting world. Traditionally, it's HiyaHiya and ChiaoGoo. I do know that Knit Picks does have some sharper needles. I've yet to try any Knit Picks needles that are sharp, but maybe in the future I will. Never gonna crush out the opportunity to try out new needles. But definitely just keep this in mind when you're looking at what kind of needles you want to buy, and hopefully this video will help you make a great decision on what kind of set you're looking for. It took me probably about 2 years to decide on a knitting needle set that I wanted, and I think that's because I have a knitting needle set that's a wooden set, and that took me about 6 months to decide on that particular set. But at the time I knew I did not want ChiaoGoo, because I had tried ChiaoGoos and they were coming undone with me. And what I didn't get to show you with the cable, so I'm going to show that right here. Sorry. But what I really like about these cables is that they spin. So these needles spin. Your needles as you're knitting, and everything it spins. And that's a really cool feature for when it comes to how you are knitting, and if there's any resistance as you're knitting, is about them spinning around. Because sometimes when you're working on a project, it becomes really difficult once the needle starts to, it will stop one way and you are moving your needle another way. That's how your needles become undone from the cable. So by having the spinning technology made into the cables, you have nothing to worry about with your needles coming apart. Right before I let you guys go, I'm going to show you guys how I place these on the cable and how they work. So with the key, I'm going to do it with the key because I'm a bit more comfortable with the key. I've tried the grip things as a kind of like an extra push, but honestly, I'm used to the key for my Lykke, so I'm going to use the key with this. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go in and you're going to screw your needles on. And what I like is once you finish with the part that's actually a screw, it tightens all the way and you just give an extra pull. And so then you're going to go in the same spot. You're going to go in with your other side and you're going to screw it in. And you're just going to tighten it. And these things are going to spin. I want you to look at that it spins. It's just so cool. And it's not coming undone. Like, I can put pressure here and it's still not coming undone. And I can spin it the other way and it's still not coming undone. So that's a really cool thing. And now I have a 24-inch cable and needle set together that I can make a nice hat with, or however with the 16-inch that I have right now. So keep that in mind when you are doing your projects in the future, and the fact that these just works really nicely. I am just in awe and super impressed with this entire set. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative, and I hope to see you guys next time.